So this one's kind of a silly one that I thought about, but I thought it was interesting. I believe my brother said this to me. Um, and he was like, oh yes, that's what it was. Um, I was dancing, and my brother was like, Sam, you look like you're dancing like an NPC. And I was like, maybe I am an NPC. Um, and then that kind of like at first as a joke, and then I kind of thought a little more seriously about it because that's just what I do, I guess. And I was like, well, what if I am an NPC? How would I know? What even is a playable character in reference to me? How do I know that everything that I'm saying is what I'm saying and not what I was made to say? Um, what if I'm just an NPC doing this and the real story's going on like across the world, like the actual like playable characters aren't even like, there's not even one within like 50 miles of me, but I'm just kind of doing what I was programmed for, you know? How would I know the difference? How would you know the difference? You wouldn't know. How could you know? You know? If I could be convincing enough to as a real person, if my like programming was good enough, I guess, I don't know. Would I really be able to tell if I was real or not? This kind of goes into my whole discussion of what I've said previously about if you're experiencing it, it's real. I am real, for sure, right? Well, for sure to me. It doesn't really matter what you think. But that doesn't mean that I'm not an NPC. I could still be an NPC, someone thought it was funny. They just had an NPC have this crisis of thought where they're just like, wouldn't it be funny if like one of them out there is just like worried about, is he an NPC right now? I don't know. That would be funny. It would be funny. But what if I am? What if my role was like, let's program the Sam so that he'll say these things to get another person thinking, and then that's the main character, and it'll be like the main character will be like, whoa, what the heck was that? I don't know. I don't know what the intention would be, but that doesn't mean that it wouldn't be possible. But I just think it's also interesting to be like, well, what even is an NPC? How do you know that you're a playable character right now? Because you're doing stuff? How in control of your life are you? How do you know that those are your actions? You really can't prove it. You can't disprove it. Because anything that you could say is free will, it could be as something that someone just programmed you to say. You can't really prove that anything that you do is your own actions rather than something that was scripted. But I don't think it really matters. I don't think it really matters if you are an NPC. Because you're still living in the world, living the life, I guess. Though I'm very curious. I'm more curious about if I'm an NPC, then what is the playable character like? That's the kind of thing that has me curious. Because I would imagine it's a lot of fun. I would imagine it's pretty interesting because, I think that the world is beautiful and incredible. And if I'm just an NPC in the world and I have basically no capabilities, what is the playable character capable of? What can they do? That would be very interesting to see because, I don't know, what if we're living in a world of magic, but I'm an NPC, so I can't use it, and they're just like, I don't know. I think that's just kind of a funny little thought to think about, If I'm an NPC, then what is the playable character doing? And I guess, what is my real purpose in the game? Because I feel like there's a lot of games where there's like NPCs, and sometimes they don't really get used. They're just kind of there in case you stumble across them. But not everyone like comes across them. You know, like some are Easter eggs, and it's like, oh, this is an Easter egg. What if I'm an Easter egg in the game? How would I know? How would you know? Maybe you're the Easter egg. Just one person one NPC in the world that is got a little more awareness than the rest, but not enough to do anything. Just enough to be like, hey, check this guy out if you're interested. I don't know. I don't know. That's really, I don't really have anything else to say on that, honestly. That's about all I've got. Just a fun little thought experiment, I guess. A little thing to think about. Yeah. Peace out.